Hello, everyone. This is Chef Leisha from the Edible Schoolyard Project. Today, I'm going to show you how to grill salmon and asparagus for a quick and easy meal at home. For this, it's very simple. There's no recipe. I'm going to show you the bird's eye view, so you won't get to see my face too much, but you'll hear my voice while I give you the instruction. All right, so let's go in. First of all, we have here a cast iron pan that we're going to use to cook the salmon. And in this pan, the non-stick skillet is what we're going to use to cook the asparagus. I have here some beautiful salmon, and we are going to season this with salt, pepper, and paprika. So you want to just put that on there on the top. Get your pepper. And I love paprika. I use paprika for a lot of dishes, a lot. It is so, so good. This is a smoked paprika. It's a little bit spicy. So if you're avoiding spice, you might want to avoid this. I don't think it's spicy, but other people do. We're going to go ahead and turn our pan on, put some olive oil in that pan and this one. And now that we have seasoned our salmon, we're going to come right over here and prepare our asparagus. And we have stored the asparagus in the refrigerator in this cup of water to maintain freshness. We're going to use our knife to cut our asparagus right in between the rubber band marks. See how beautiful that is? Don't worry, this is going back in, because you can chop this up and use it for soups, stews, omelets, and everything else. We're just going to use the tips for this meal. All right, let's get cooking. I'm going to come over here and kind of spread this oil around the pan because I want it to be nicely lubricated for the salmon. I'm going to turn this up to a just under high heat. So it's going to be nice and hot. And then we're going to go with medium for our asparagus. And for the asparagus, we're just going to go with a little bit of salt and pepper. When you have super fresh food, you don't need to overdo it with the spices and the seasonings. Sometimes less is best so that you get the full flavor of what you're working with. I'm going to take our salmon now. Oh, it's so nice and delicate. And put that in the pan. You hear that sizzle? This salmon has skin on the bottom, so we're putting it skin side down. And we're going to let that cook and get nice and crispy. Wash our hands in between handling raw meat and vegetables. Even though we're cooking our asparagus, we still want to be conscious and aware of the raw state of the salmon as we move along. All right, let's get closer to the stove. You want to make sure that all of your stuff is centrally located for ease of access so you don't have to move around too much while you're cooking, okay? There we go. That sounds really, really great. What you're going to notice here is a lot of stuff happening right around the skin area. The skin is going to get nice and crispy, and it will naturally release from the pan once it is ready to do so, especially because we're using cast iron and we have it liberally lubricated with the olive oil. Let's go ahead and put in the asparagus right into the pan. And we got our salt, and we got our pepper. Be careful for the popping oil. That happens sometimes. And I'm gonna create some little bit of space here. And you can always turn your fire down a little bit if you start to notice it's doing a little bit more than you bargained for. So let's turn our asparagus up just a little bit. I don't want to overcook my asparagus or my salmon. I like everything to be just cooked. The freshness of your seafood when you choose it is important so that you actually have that fresh flavor when you cook it. If you notice, you look from the side angle, you can see how much of it has cooked on the inside, and that will help you decide when it is time to flip it. That's your indicator. It's like your gas light looking on the side. You're like, oh yeah, I'm approaching the halfway point. So we're just gonna continue to let it go. How long should you cook it? It really depends on how thick your steaks are, the cut of your salmon, and how well you like it cooked. I don't like my salmon overcooked. I like it just cooked enough, and everyone is different. So we're going to just make sure that we pay attention to the pan. And if you see the oil is not distributing evenly, then you just kind of move it a little bit safely though with one of these guys, okay? I can smell the asparagus starting to cook. Again, this is something very simple. You don't always need a lot of ingredients for a meal. Think salt and pepper, they go a long way. Paprika is very good as well. But if you want to get extra, you can do garlic powder, onion powder, cardamom, so many other different flavors. It really is up to you. But if you are someone who is just starting out cooking in the kitchen and you're not quite sure what you want to do with it, don't be afraid to try something new. Look, there we go. We're going to give it a quick flip. Boom. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. I love salmon. I know a lot of meat eaters who love steak. I love salmon the way meat eaters love steak. Oh, and look, that happens, y'all. This is real life. I'm not going to edit it out either. It's just going to stay right there. I'm going to pull that off, actually, because that's pretty tasty eats right there. If you like salmon skin, it's a whole mood. All right. This looks fantastic. So good. The asparagus is coming along. And it will all be ready together at the same time. I'm using an electric stove here. One thing to note about electric stoves is that the eye on the stove stays hot for a very long time. So you never, ever, ever want to wait until your food is absolutely done cooking before you turn it off. You want to turn it off well before your food is done, especially if you're using a cast iron pan. This pan is hot. It is holding heat. I am turning it off now because that heat is still going to be there. And if I leave the salmon in the pan, it will continue to cook and continue to cook and to continue to cook. So if you ever wondered why your food overcooked, if you were using, let's say, an electric stove, cast iron pans, that's probably one of the reasons why. The eye element on an electric stove stays hot for an extended period of time. And I like to just do like this to see how soft it is, how firm it is. That will give me an indication of how well done it's cooked. This steak is under, this one is firmer. So that's how you know when folks say they want something that's done well done versus something. It's the hand test that we learned culinary school. Make a fist, that's well done. Loosen it up, that's medium. And then that's rare. That's how you test how your meat is. And you want to compare that to the actual meat in the pan. So I'm also going to turn off the asparagus now because I don't like overcooked asparagus, y'all. And our meal is actually done. I'm going to ask my assistant if she will grab a plate from over there for me. And I'm going to plate it up and show you guys how beautiful this is. It's super simple. If you want to get fancy with it. Squeeze some lemon on top of it, make aioli, everything else. But for those of you who are just starting out and not quite sure how to actually do it, this is your first lesson. Congratulations. So I'm going to plate this up right now by putting this asparagus on the bottom of the plate and then the salmon right on top of it. And I'm going to flip the salmon over so you guys can see the other side of it. Just 1 second. There you go. Look how good that looks. Super simple, super easy. in under 10 minutes. So it doesn't always take a long time to make a wonderful meal. Enjoy your day.